Am I doing the right thing? Backstory. My father was abusive in the past and this went on till I was about 8. My mother finally divorced him back then and things got better for a few years. My mom found a new partner and he was kinda a stepdad to us, 4 children. But 4 years ago my mother broke up with him for some reasons I don't understand to this day. Now with her new partner she turned completely insane in my opinion. She told us that he was more important than us and we had to obey his every word, speaking to 18, 17, 16 and 14-year-olds. She also told us that he was our new father and part of our family. I didn't like him from the first sight so I, the 17 years/old, told her that he could be part of her family but defiantly not mine. And defiantly not from one day to another. I then met someone on the internet. We became good friends and later we even got together. This will be important later on. So obviously her new partner didn't really like me either. Even went so far to tell me to just stay in my room and things like that. I just accepts it because I didn't want to get into a fight with my mother. We had just gotten into a kinda good relationship, but her partner was her new center of life and attention. I didn't mind that because I was having a kinda changing time of my life. A year after he came into our home is when things really got worse. I went to talk to my mother about a woman thing which was embarrassing enough to talk about. She told me she'd keep it to herself. Of course she didn't. A day later he told it to my siblings as well. So yeah, another red flag for me. Fast forward half a year I had a girlfriend. Internet relationship. Yeah, it didn't end well but that's another thing. So I got more and more away from my mother. She didn't like that because she loves to have control over everything. Because of that our relationship got worse and worse. One day we had a big fight and my mother took away my phone. She slapped me and sent me to my room. Since my girlfriend knew my mother hit me sometimes, especially when we have big fights, she worried about me. I couldn't answer her for more than 12 hours cause my phone was away. She called the police to my address which made everything even worse. They came at 4 AM and wanted to know if I was okay. My mother didn't take that well. She didn't talk to me for few days and her partner yelled at me every time he saw me. They had me do all the chores, walk her 3 dogs and clean the flat every other day. I wasn't allowed to go outside and was under constant observation. Worst thing was I had to show her all my messages and was only allowed to have my phone from 8 AM to 8 PM. This constant being under control and being observed made me go crazy. This went on for a year. My GF broke up pretty soon after the incident with the police. Half a year after I turned 18 I left home. I wanted to get distance between me and my mother. She also didn't take that well. Tried to contact her a few times until shortly before Christmas she answered. So I went to visit her on Christmas Day with my BF because I couldn't go alone. It went okay in my opinion. A few months later she told me I still had things to pick up from my old home. Next chance I had to go there I went and wanted to pick up the things. My brother opened and told my mother and her partner weren't there but I could still pick the things up. So I looked what was in the boxes and oh boy was that wrong. I saw things that were never mine but my sister's. I picked my few things out and wanted to take only those. And who thought it? My mother, and he came home. He instantly went to yelling at my audacity to sort my things out and how I dared to leave anything here. My mother stood next to him and said nothing. Since I got a lot more stable and didn't want everyone to just take me for granted I became angry. I told him if he wants to talk to me he should do exactly that but not yell. I tried to explain that most of these things weren't mine but he didn't listen of course. My mother didn't say anything at all. He went so mad he yelled at me and told me I should leave his home right now and never come back. So I did exactly this. I haven't been there since. My mother also never texted or called me since then. I told her if she ever wanted to see or hear from me again she had to do the first step. She didn't and I don't think she will in the next few years. I miss her pretty much but I also don't want to risk my mental health again for her if she doesn't even talk to me. Everyone tells me I should just do the first step again but I don't want to risk my mental health again and I don't wanna be the idiot who always comes back like a dog. So am I doing the right thing? Or am I just being unnecessarily stubborn? Too long didn't read. My mother and I have no good relationship anymore and I don't wanna be the person to do the first step again after a year of no contact at all. I also don't like her boyfriend but she won't accept it. Am I being stubborn? Sorry for the long text and any mistakes. The people who are telling you to take the first step are wrong. At home is an abusive environment. You were being abused, emotionally and physically. You deserve so much better. Please focus on moving forward and developing healthy friendships. You can build your own network of people who love and respect you and who don't need to tear you down to build themselves up. Those people will become your new family. I know you have to feel lonely and isolated right now, but the world will go back to normal eventually and you will be able to interact in person with people who care for you. Please look out for yourself. Nope, you're doing the right thing. You can't put yourself in an abusive environment and have your mental health suffer. Don't set yourself on fire to keep other people warm. Do not contact her. If she contacts you, tell her that her partner is abusive towards you and your siblings, and since getting together with him, she has been abusive, too. Tell her you will never speak to her again as long as they remain together. Stick to that. Absolutely no contact unless she leaves him and apologizes to you. This is what is best for you. Take it from me, someone who had to cut off a toxic parent at a similar age. It's the right choice. Also, can you get a hold of your stepdad? I know they aren't together anymore, but he might help if he knew what was going on. Sadly I can't. My kinda stepdad broke off contact soon after they broke up and moved away. I frequently tried to contact him but one day he just didn't answer at all anymore and I just took that as another proof that I'm unworthy of parents, haha. Thank you for answering and I hope you have a good day. As long as she continues to enable his abusive behavior and is abusive herself, this is the only safe and healthy path for you. I know it's hard, but you will find people on Live who will become your chosen family, people who treat you like a person, the way you deserve to be treated. Lots of people will tell you that you have to have a relationship with your family, but they're only saying that because they have a mostly loving and good family and can't really conceive of a family so bad that good communication can't fix it. I have been that person. Or they also have shitty ass families and they continue to submit themselves to abusive treatment because they believe they have to and you should too. Those people need help and support, but you need to get your own oxygen mask on first. No contact is great. Try to find ways to be there for your siblings if you can do so safely. Therapy is good for everyone, and if that's out of reach for any reason, there's support groups for people with narcissist or abusive parents. Even online you can get support, reading recommendations, techniques, and a sense of community. You're on the right path, and you're lucky to be opting out of the harm they would do to you now. Stay strong. You are worthy of love and respect. You won't get it from these people, even though they're supposed to protect you and lift you up. Go find people who do. Practice healthy relationships and boundaries. Get support and resources for keeping your resolve. I don't think you miss her, you miss who she's supposed to be instead of the abusive narcissist she actually is. I'm sorry you're going through this. Stay strong. My BF who I live with and see every day texts loads of questions and takes texting very seriously. I don't know how to explain that I find his texting habits boring and exhausting without offending him. M and F both 30 together 3.5 years. Me and my BF work different shifts, although we have most evenings together from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. and all day every Sunday. He likes to text a lot, paragraphs usually, but his texts only ever consist of asking me about 4 to 5 almost identical questions and providing very little else. He just says he's fishing or watching TV when I ask him. He seems to love question marks for some reason. His questions for me when I'm home and he's at work are usually, how did you sleep? What you up to? Playing any video games today? Watching anything on TV? Any fun plans for later? Having a bath today? Etc. All in one text. I'll ask him what he's up to and if I can think of something else interesting to ask him I will. But I wouldn't ask all the small mundane stuff he asks me because it feels pointless and exhausting. He will answer me with something really brief then ask me loads more follow-up questions on my answers, e.g. any fun plans for after that? What level are you on? How was your bath? Did you use a bath bomb or bubble bath? etc. I'm starting to get really exhausted by all the questions, especially since when he comes home he asks all over again what I've been up to, etc. Also, if I text last during the day he will say sorry I didn't get time to reply, I'll reply now, and he brings up the text I sent to him on his phone and replies to it in person. I used to think it was funny / sweet, but it's every time and I don't really get it now. He used to get a bit weird if I miss questions or don't answer, but he hasn't mentioned it recently. He also used to call me out on answering inaccurately, e.g. I like how you said you weren't playing video games but then you did, but that hasn't happened in a few weeks either. Once I text first and said hey, you having a nice day? Not much happening here, I'm pretty bored. And he said okay I get the hint, you don't want me to keep asking what you're up to, smiley face. I wasn't really hinting then, but whatever. But after a few weeks he started again. Another time I was at my mum's and we had a short funny real-time convo for the first time. I sent him a funny picture and we had a convo that was just a few sentences each on an inside joke. It felt so fun and natural. But then he said okay, I'm going to bed, have fun. Scrolling up to find my last proper text. Here, I'll make it easy for you, smiley face. And copied and pasted his last text that was full of what you up to and all the other usual questions. It made me feel miserable, like he was giving me homework, like how he sits and replies to my text in person while reading them. Plus I was going to see him later that evening anyway. How can I politely tell him that all the questions are exhausting and I'd like us to have a nice natural convo? Do you think we should stop texting so much during the day altogether? He seems to be putting an unhealthy amount of emphasis on a casual way of communicating, which might make sense if we didn't see each other every day for hours, but we do. TL, doctor, my BF who I live with and see every day texts loads of questions and takes texting very seriously, and I don't know how to explain that I find it boring and exhausting without offending him. How many more posts are you going to make about this guy before you realize he isn't right for you? You're not going to find the right magic words to conjure up a way to make him into someone he isn't. He sounds annoying, needy, and controlling. Who cares if you offend him? That will tell you all you need to know. You aren't his emotional therapy dog. He shouldn't want to annoy you. If my husband told me his texting was excessive and intrusive, I'd tone it down and apologize for distracting him so much. I wouldn't be offended. You may be incompatible. Relationships don't have to be this challenging. Really think about that. I remember your previous posts. This is a person with serious, recurring problems with communicating effectively and empathetically. The baffling, passive-aggressive I like that you did X when you said you'd do Y thing, the awkward lies about doing things he believes to be masculine or tough, the sudden aggression and defensiveness towards you in response to totally harmless teasing, and then this really intense texting habit all paint a picture of a person for whom emotional perception and regulation doesn't meet conventional social standards, and communication, verbal, written, and with body language, is incredibly challenging. I'm not going to put forth an armchair diagnosis, but I believe he would be very well served by speaking to his doctor and a behavioral/social therapist, a suggestion that's been made to you on several of your posts and which I hope you've conveyed to him. I'm not necessarily going to suggest you skip out on a multi-year relationship, but every new post you make about your partner is increasingly concerning. Do I think he sounds at all dangerous or intentionally hurtful? Not at all. Not in the slightest. I think he is unintentionally but frequently and without abatement causing you stress, confusion, discomfort, and unhappiness? Yes, absolutely. I'd start with drawing very clear boundaries. In explicit language, ask him to stop specific behaviors. I do not like this form of communication, and I no longer want to text you throughout the day. If you text, I will not respond. If it is an emergency, call me. Otherwise, we will talk when we are home together. You don't have to justify it, you don't need to explain it. Just I do not like this, I will not be doing this anymore. He will likely be temporarily upset, potentially extremely so, and you can convey sympathy for those hurt feelings, but it should not distract from the core problem you're trying to address. If he does not respect those boundaries, about this issue and the many others, and does not seek professional assistance with communication and emotional regulation, I don't see this relationship being sustainable, equal, or healthy for either of you. My ex, 16F, wants me, 17M, back desperately. Right Reddit, this tale has taken another twist. I've posted about 10 times over the past week, so read the rest for background if needed. Essentially, me and my girlfriend of about 2 months broke up just over a week ago. We both weren't really happy because of lockdown and other reasons. It was a mutual decision to break up. I have severe anxiety and I was constantly worrying about her, so the breakup was closely related to that. Immediately afterwards, she seemed so relieved and happy she wasn't with me anymore while I felt horrible. I realized it was likely my fault and I apologized to her for it. My anxiety had ruined the relationship, so I knew I needed to get my life on track and deal with it. I did exactly that and have been meditating, taking medication, eating regularly and having a relatively normal sleep schedule. I left the Discord we were in together as I hated seeing her talking and messaging others freely because I couldn't when we were together. However, I still worry about her way more than I should. I received a message from her at 3 in the morning, while I was asleep, saying that she misses me. She says everything feels different without me and that she feels really lonely without me. Despite all of this, rather than asking for me back, she just said right person, wrong time, so I'm unsure of her motive by telling me this. I kinda made a drama out of leaving the Discord, so I can't help but think she's only said this because she feels sorry for me. What should I do? The relationship was hell for me, not because of her but because of my anxiety. I want her back, but I can't imagine it going any better than the first relationship with her, but I don't know if that's just my anxiety. Too long didn't read. My ex wants me back and so do I, but our previous relationship was practically a living hell for me due to my anxiety.